early, so when Coach is finished and Mitch is here, he's just going to stay at the podium the whole time. If that works out, we'll just do Nas the same way. All right, Coach.
All right. Sun came up yesterday, if you guys weren't aware of, and we got a chance to look at the film, got the things that we felt like were correctable, got those worked out in practice with our mistakes, and got all the corrections made, and have turned a page and now moving on towards Illinois.
Larry, when you look back on the tape from Saturday, especially offensively, were you happy with what you guys tried to do? Were you happy with the approach, and especially kind of the disparity between run and pass?
Yeah, I mean, was I happy with it? I would have liked a heck of a lot more production in everything we did, and a lot more consistency. And if we would have probably been more consistency, we would have done a few different things. But because of our lack of consistency, we tended to go towards the pass more, and we didn't hit on any of the plays that we thought we were going to hit on.
Was that always the game plan to pass as much as you guys did?
We don't really go into a game plan saying, let's throw it this many times, let's run it this many times. It's more dictated on what the defense does and how we're performing in the game. If we were running the ball effectively, then we probably would have run the ball quite a bit more, actually.
So the lack of consistency you're talking about, like on first and second down?
Yeah, we were way too inconsistent. I mean, when you start getting behind the chains every time, when you're in long yardage situations, it's tough to just sit in there and say, okay, we're going to run the football. And I mean, I've never done that, and I never probably will. It's just not my philosophy. So I've never gone into a game saying, we're just going to run the football no matter what they do. I mean, it's always this offense has always been dictated on take advantage of what the defense gives you.
You had some success running the ball on first down, though. What didn't you like about what you guys were doing there that you didn't go
Too
too
many
often?
times that we were getting behind the chains. I mean, it was more, like I said, there was inconsistency. It was not that we never had any success. It was that we couldn't get any consistent success so that you could get a flow going in the game and continue to move the chains. There were a few series where we did do that, and we were successful moving the ball in those series. But when we weren't and we started getting behind the chains, then we put too much on the quarterback then.
Elijah has, I think it's 23 carries in the last two season openers. And seems like a guy that, as a physical runner, gets better the more work he has. But you've also been pretty open about there's a plan you have for everything you do with how you manage his workload. I guess, how do you explain, 2 games worth of lack of workload for what most people say is your best player?
Yeah, first of all, let me tell you, I think that both of those guys, both T.J. Logan and Elijah Hood, ran really hard and ran really well and did some really nice things throughout the game. I mean, it's the same situation as always. I mean, if we run the ball good enough, then we didn't throw it enough. If we don't throw it well, then we didn't run it enough. It's always the same thing. I mean, we go in with a game plan to take advantage of what they give us, and unfortunately in that game, we didn't know what they were going to do in a lot of the situations, and we had to adjust. And if we hit on some of those big plays that I expected us to, some of the layups that we got, and it may be a different style of game, but it wasn't.
How much should they disguise kind of what they were doing defensively? Like, would they give you guys one look before the snap and then maybe adjust?
You got some of that. Yeah, you got some of that. I mean, they did a good job in their secondary with their coverages and all those things. We studied as much of the Alabama film as we could possibly study, and you got some similar things, but still not to the when you start looking at tendencies, you really have no tendencies to go off of based other than what they did at Alabama, and so it wasn't the same. So you have to adjust. You got to adjust in the middle of the game, and I didn't think that we adjusted well enough, especially on offense. With the guys that we have returning, I just didn't feel like we did that well enough.
Is there a certain, when you're talking about adjusting during the course of the game, is there a certain Is that are we talking about as simple as running it more, or is there something more specific?
Oh, no, it's not just, hey, let's run the ball more, let's throw it more. It's more adjusting to what the scheme that they're giving us and how we need to attack that scheme. So that's the difference.
Was that something that Mitch had some trouble with, like, I guess identifying what he was seeing, and you haven't had a lot of.
Little bit of that, yeah.
Hadn't had a lot of experience with that, and you didn't know what you were preparing for.
Right, a little bit of that, little of first game as a starter, a little bit of, all of it mixed in together, so, we'll just, hopefully we're gonna get better this week, get everything corrected, and we'll be a better football team.
What are some of the other things that Mitch did that you believe in him are easily correctable, you see, that you expect him to do much better this week?
Oh, I haven't changed on the way I feel about Mitch Trubisky. Did he play as well as he would have liked to? No. Did he play as well as I would have liked him to? No. Is he gonna play better in the future? Yes, there's no doubt about it. Every rep he gets as a starting quarterback, he's gonna get better.
What did you like that he did the other night?
He took care of the football. And I told him that was the number one thing he had to do, and he did that. He didn't ever throw the ball into coverage. He handled all the snaps. We had 4 or 5 snaps that were low, handled all the snaps. He didn't have, you guys take those things for granted. I don't. Just a handoff, and especially when we're reading things and you're pulling it and doing those kind of things. I never take that for granted. And so I thought he did a nice job of handling all of that. You were in a loud, hostile environment that you were using basically our silent count system throughout the entire game with motions, and we never had an issue. So that's a credit to him.
With Mac being out for the first half, you knew that obviously going in. Did that change anything about, I don't know, being able to establish a rhythm offensively? Talking about the consistency thing early on, or?
I don't know. Because he didn't play, so I don't know. I know that Prohl got behind him. I know that Switzer got behind him, and we didn't connect on any of them. So, we had guys. So that's what I'm talking about on those layups. You only get so many layups in a game. You got to hit the layups. And we didn't hit any of those layups, and so that makes it tough for you.
On a play-by-play basis, is it up to Mitch whether you guys run or pass? Like, does he have the option? How much?
There's quite a bit of it. There's quite a bit of option there, based on what the defense does. So, in our typical play call system, a lot of times a run is tagged with a pass, and so it's based on what he sees, defensively. If he sees what he wants, he can throw it. If he doesn't see what he wants, he can run it. So, and in that scheme, he can either hand it off or he can keep it himself. So it's a lot of that in our offense.
Sorry about that. Is that what you were explaining the other night when I asked you about when you got to the 5, you had first and goal at the 5 late and a half? Those were runs tagged with passes, and that's why you went that way?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, that's the way our whole offense is, basically, guys. We very, very seldom are just straight runs called. Very seldom do we do that in this style of offense, and that's been that way for as long as I've been here, actually. So,
Coach, tell me it was more than a coincidence that the first time Matt gets on the field on the kickoff return and you score. That's more than a coincidence, right, Coach?
I don't know. He did his job, I can tell you, because he was on his. He had a double team that he and I can't remember who was with him. I can't remember who it was, but they were responsible for a double team. We had a field return called, and that's a critical block for us in that return. And the one thing is when Matt comes out there on special teams, he's going to get his job done. He's going to get his job done. And he's he takes a lot of pride in it. And, he gives those guys a little boost of energy because he's excited and he about special teams. He always is. So when he's on the field, it's a big deal out there.
Do you even have to bring up to your team that last year you lost a game in the opener, and then what you did after that? Do you even say it and go and make them hammer home the point, or let them do it on their own?
They do have a little bit of intelligence. They understand. They knew. They know going into this game. Again, it was not a do or die situation in this game. Yes, we want to win the football game. We prepared like that. But we also know that it doesn't make or break our season. I've said that before. It's on to the next game, and all of our goals, we don't even, I still won't talk about that stuff. I mean, because none of that really plays into it yet. I mean, it's, hey, let's take care of our business this week. The biggest challenge right now, we got 3 days to prepare. You know, this is that, when you go into that second game, you know, where you've had 10 days to prepare for a team and digest a game plan over 10 days. Now you got to do it in 3 days. You know, you got tomorrow, you got Wednesday and Thursday, and the guys have to be able to perform that game plan. So this is that first one where you have to be able to do that. And so that's why we got to do a great job as coaches, making sure it's concise.
The first game, as you've said many times, wasn't do or die. You weren't going to put all your eggs in that one basket. But you've made reference the last month about preparing to play 15. Does that mean that your goals can be affected with this week's game and every game moving forward?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So you gave with the loss, you guys have no room for error as far as reaching your goal.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit here and say that 15 is a goal of this football team. I'm sure everybody, but that's not ever been a stated goal of ours for this team. I mean, yeah, we'd love to play 15 and that'd be great, but that's not, we didn't walk into the season saying our goal is to play 15 games.
What are the goals for you guys?
Goals are to win the state championship, win the coastal division, win the ACC championship, and win our last game. That's it.
Larry, when you look at Illinois with just the one-game sample size this year, are they dramatically different from where they were a year ago?
You know what? We thought the strength of their team last year was their defensive front, and they're all back. You know, and watching the film the other day, you know, last night and this morning, I mean, it's still the strength of their team. They added a linebacker, I think Hardy Nickerson, the defensive coordinator's son, who's really playing well and gives them experience there. And then they have the kid on the back end, the free safety that played against us last year. What's his name? Barton or something. Number 3, if I remember right. Yeah, Taylor Barton. You know, other than that, I think the rest of them, I don't know how much they played against us last year. The scheme's different. You know, the scheme's different. So, you know, but watching that game the other day, I can tell you the strength of that defense is in that defensive front. I mean, those guys, they do a nice job. And there's 4 guys up front that can go. I mean, really go.
When you went back and looked at the film, what did you guys think about the run defense? When you're playing against a running back like that obviously.
Yeah, we had too many missed tackles. Too many missed tackles. I mean, you know, he's good. You know, I'm give him a lot of credit now. He's a good running back. So let's give him his credit. You know, it's due for him. I mean, especially to come back for his first game after his injury and everything. But I mean, you'll see if you look at the film, there's a lot of missed tackles.
Was that the number one thing that stood out above all else?
No doubt. Yeah, and then there were some times where they did some things that, you know, with their shifting and motioning, that even though we've been preparing for all the shifting and motion, they did some ones that we hadn't prepared for, and so they got us out-gapped a few times, and it cost us.
What about as far as the pass rush got a couple of sacks?
Yeah, I thought we got some really good pressure on the quarterback. I mean, I thought, you know, Mikey Bart had, you know, we got, Dez came off the corner one time on a blitz and got him. You know, and there were numerous times that we were, whether we got him down or not, we were hitting him or pressuring him. So I thought our pass rush was really good.
It sounded like Tyler Powell was supposed to start you guys at defensive
Yeah.
end, but I don't think he played.
No, he didn't. He didn't. He's dealing with some personal issues right now, so don't know what that situation will be.
When you look at what Illinois might do, how much Lovie Smith film from the NFL do you look at, and what do you pick apart from that?
That's
There are
really,
differences.
other than one game against Murray State, I mean, everything we've based everything on is on NFL film. So yeah, we've watched a lot of NFL film.
Because of the differences in the NFL and college, what do you look at more specifically from what he did in the NFL?
Well, you're still looking at schemes. I mean, you're still doing those things now. I mean, techniques and different, you know, it may be different with the style of you know, the style of offense we run compared to what he's seeing in the NFL. But Murray State was a little bit of a, you know, they're a spread team, so we're able to at least see one game. I mean, one thing I can tell you about Lovie Smith, at least that I know from the past and what I've heard about Lovie, is he's not going to be real exotic in what he does. He's going to line up, his guys are going to know what to do, and they're going to play really hard. And that's, when you looked at that Murray State film, that's exactly what you saw.
What the difference between last week, you didn't really know who you were going to see at quarterback. At least you've faced their quarterback before, and you faced some of the guys they have on offense, correct?
Yeah.
So it makes it a little bit easier to at least
I mean,
know
you
the
know,
personnel.
I don't think that if you have, let's just go back to Georgia. If you had a quarterback that was a run quarterback, and then you had the other kid that's gonna just sit in the pocket and throw it, now, yeah, you'd have some issues to deal with. You got two quarterbacks that we prepared for that do the same thing. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that worrying about which quarterback was gonna start affected our football team, because I don't think it had anything to do with it. We prepared for a quarterback, and they're very similar in what they do. So we weren't concerned with it. This week, Lunt's their quarterback. We saw him last year. He's in a totally different offense than he was the year before. So we'll have to see what happens.
First game of American football for Tom Sheldon. What was his mindset like going into the game, and how did he play? I
thought he played really well. You take some things for granted. Okay, there's a great example for you. It's kick the ball on the numbers, kick the ball on the numbers. Well, it's a pro stadium. Their numbers and our numbers aren't the same. We have tick marks out there for our numbers. After a couple of kicks, I'm like, Tom, why don't you, kick the ball out on the numbers? To him, he was kicking the ball on the numbers, right? He was put on the pro numbers, And so that's me taking for granted that the kid understands, and that's just my fault, But, he handled the situation really well. If you think about playing in the first game of your life in that atmosphere and in that situation, and what we netted 43 yards on, on punt. That's if we do that throughout the season, we'll be in the top 10 in the country. So I thought our guys did a great job of covering. I thought he hit some nice balls. We'd liked a little more hang time than what he got. But as the game went on, his hang time was better and better as he started feeling more comfortable.
What do you think of the offensive line play? I thought Caleb Peterson in particular on the big plays had some good plays.
Caleb Peterson played really well. I thought he played well, and I thought, Crowley did some good things, and I thought we were pretty average beyond that. Really did.
You talked a lot about measuring stick game on Saturday. This would provide an indication of kind of where you stand, big picture-wise.
Yeah.
Where do you feel like you measured up, especially defensively in terms of?
Well, here's what after coming out of the game, looking at the film and everything, one thing is, you guys may find this hard to believe, but I felt relief, right? Because flying home the other night, that's not the way I felt, right? After watching the film, I'm like, okay, every issue that we had was correctable. And I'm not happy we made the mistakes that we made, but everything was correctable. It's not like we're deficient here, we're not going to be able to hold up now. What are we going to have to do scheme-wise to cover that hole? Those kind of things. I felt like everything that happened in that game was correctable. Let's just take Patrice Renee in his first game in college. He is in great coverage in both of those plays. And I think he panicked. He turns, he's 6'2", he's probably going to intercept both those balls. Because he's already there. It's not like he was trying to catch up and was behind and interfered with the guy. He was in great coverage on the guy. And he just panicked. And that will come with experience. So those kind of things, all the mistakes that we made in this game that kept us from being successful are correctable. So I feel relieved of that.
Are you encouraged by Cole Holcomb, because he made some plays, but also there were were the mistakes, they were sort of the correctable type things too that he had?
Yeah, led the team in tackles, I think. Again, the mistakes that were made were correctable. He did a nice job. He really did. That's his first start. He did a nice job. He did.
Were you pleased with the play calling dynamic, with the communication?
Yeah, no problems with it. It's the same it's been for 5 years now. So it's not any different, just different people. But the system and the way we do it is the same. All right, y'all good?
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Mitch and Nas are here, so